G'day everyone, I'm going to run you through the maintenance on a Minn Kota Ulterra 24 volt. I had some issues with mine. It was going up and the remote wouldn't change from stow to deploy, so I couldn't put it back down. So I took it in and they showed me how to maintain it, and it was actually something that I wasn't doing right that was the problem. So to start off with, we're going to get a Phillips screwdriver. We're going to take this cover off here. 2 screws in the side here. Comes away. Now we're going to put the motor down because we're going to take this panel off and we want the motor down. So deploy. This cover comes off with 2 Allen keys, which are 3/16. So we've got an Allen key here. We're going to take these 2 bolts off, screws off. A couple of turns on them and they're loose. This here is the switch that changes it from stow to deploy. That there. A little bit of movement. So I'll put the motor back up. You'll see the switch switches. And on the remote, it's now gone to deploy. So I'll put that down again. Switch will go in, and it's come up with stow, so that's working perfectly. So that there, on mine, that was all caked up with grease. So I've taken, with salt. I've taken all the salt off, cleaned it up, and covered it in grease so it works freely. Mine was seized completely. So that's that switch. That's the first part of the maintenance you need to do. This screw part here, that thread there, just needs a little bit of grease. Not a lot, as you can see, otherwise it'll all drop all over the boat and all of that. So give that a little bit of grease. If it hasn't got enough on it, just put a little bit more on it. So you want to use dielectric grease. A little bit of that, and just the tiniest little bit. Otherwise it'll end up dripping over everything. So that's the second part. The last part is the connection between here and here, the electrical connection. So to get to that, you need to pull this tab on the side. That tab comes out. Step back a bit, and then you can lift this up, and that's our connections. So here's the connections here. There's 4 of them, and they run in this track up here. So there's 2 tracks. So they need to be clean and salt free, and you need to put a smidgen of grease on them. So after you put a little bit of grease on them, if they've got salt on them, you'll have to clean the salt off and then put the grease on. And then we're going to put that back down, and to click that in, we're going to turn the motor. It clicks in, and then we're going to straighten the motor back up around to there. Then we're going to get the remote and we're going to stow it. So it hasn't stowed, so it's going to need to reset. So to reset it, we're going to come around here. We've got a flashing red light. So we're going to turn the power off. We're going to turn the power back on. I'm going to push the button 3 times. And that's a reset. So I've had to push the stow button twice then, and it's done its thing, and it's gone back to normal. So if I deploy it, everything will be fine after the reset. It's gone back to that position, so I can just trim it back down to where I want it. Close that off. So I can see here, I've spun it around, I've got that all mucked up there. So it should still be fine. No dramas, so that's the most important thing. Keep an eye on that, keep that nice and clean so it moves. Clean those in there. They suggest every 2nd trip, and I'm doing it now all the time just to make sure that it lasts and lasts. So those are the main things that can go wrong with it. So anyway, thanks for watching, and if this is any help, if you can click the subscribe button and like the video, it'd be much appreciated. Cheers.